If you are fond of the jungle, Uganda is where you want to be. Africa, especially sub-Saharan Africa, is known for its wildlife parks, whether they be in South Africa, Botswana, Namibia, Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, Congo, and of course Uganda. But a lot of people still don't have Uganda on their itinerary. Typically, they would go for the more popular destinations like Kenya, like Tanzania or South Africa. But Uganda is where you want to be. The national parks in Uganda are managed by the Ugandan Wildlife Authority, and they seem to be doing a pretty good job of it. I've been to only a few, but they have at least 10 national parks which you can visit. I visited 4, and I'm going to share my experiences about these. When in Uganda, I visited the Murchison Falls National Park. I went to the Bwindi Impenetrable National Park, and I went to the Queen Elizabeth National Park. However, I also passed through the Ishasha National Park, which technically is a part of the Queen Elizabeth National Park. So you can say I visited 3 or 4 national parks. If you love the forest, there is no itinerary which can give you enough of the same. However, if you must plan, I would recommend you spend at least 3 days in the Murchison Falls National Park. You spend at least 3 days in the Queen Elizabeth National Park, and you spend at least 2 days in the Bwindi Impenetrable National Park. And when I say 3 days or 2 days, it means full days and not traveling days where you get only half a day or a quarter day to yourself. Each of the parks I went to is unique and different in its own way. Starting with the Murchison Falls National Park, it gets its name from falls by the same name. The national park is teeming with wildlife. You could find lions, elephants, if you're lucky, leopards, hyenas, giraffes. You won't find zebras there though. And so many other mammals, other animals, porcupines, birds, reptiles. You'll find them all in the Murchison Falls National Park. The Bwindi Impenetrable National Park is known for its mountain gorillas. In all brochures of hotels and other businesses that are selling the national park, they will tell you is the most incredible experience you're going to have spending time with the mountain gorillas. We'll come to that separately. And then you got the Queen Elizabeth National Park. You won't find giraffes here, but you'll pretty much find all other animals that you would also find in Murchison Falls. And the unique feature of this park, along with Ishasha, are the lions, who are known for climbing trees. Unfortunately, I could not see them on trees. The other thing is, when you are at Murchison Falls and you are at Queen Elizabeth, you can actually do boat cruises. When you do that, you see rich bird life along the way. You see hippos. In fact, you really get close to hippos. One of them was found lurking below the boat I was in, and it suddenly gave a big bump to the boat from below and ran away. We could have toppled, but yeah, we didn't. And I'm here telling you the story. You've got crocs on the banks who could just slither into the water the moment they see you. You've got wild buffaloes, you've got elephants who come to the banks to drink water. You name it, it all happens here. When you are in these parks, you have to do the boat cruises. When you are out for a game drive, the kind of vehicle you are in and the guide and the naturalist you are with can make or break your experience. It is extremely important that you book the right mix. Ask your lodge what they're offering. If you're not satisfied, go and hire one privately. And again, there are different kinds of vehicles available depending what your agenda is. If you just want to look around, maybe you want a closed vehicle where you are comfortable, cool, and you can look around. However, if like me, you want to do serious photography, make sure you have a vehicle which is open on all sides and preferably on the top also, so you can shoot from all angles wherever you see wildlife, because it could appear from anywhere. And your naturalist and your guide, you have to interview them before you go out. You need to know how much they know about the park, how well do they track the animals, how well are they in sync with the forest and its environment. Till you don't sort that out, you should not head out if you are a serious wildlife lover. Should you go on a game drive with a vehicle which is only for you and your group, or should you share it with other guests? It all depends primarily on your budget and the experience that you're looking for. If you're looking for a quiet experience, if you want to be doing serious photography, I would recommend have a vehicle to yourself, even if it means you're paying higher, because the cost is not divided amongst as many people. Number two, of course, is the budget. If it suits your budget, please have a vehicle to yourself, so you can actually tell the guide where to take the vehicle, when to stop, when to start, and totally view wildlife as per your taste and your preferences. All the parks I went to are actually located a few hours from each other. However, if you are short of time, you can take planes. These are usually 13 or 14 seaters. Actually take off and land on strips inside the forest. Of course, they can be a little expensive, so you need to have the budget for it. And otherwise, a drive from Murchison Falls National Park to Kampala was about 4 to 5 hours. From there to Bhiwandi takes another 5 hours. Bhiwandi to Queen Elizabeth takes another 4 to 5 hours. And Bhiwandi to Kampala takes another 6 hours. So really, it's a function of how much time you have available and what's your budget, and that can help you decide how you want to get around. When you are going by car, you can either take one with a driver who knows the way, or you can actually pick up one which is a self-drive car. I would do that next time I come and really drive at your own leisure and have a different kind of a fun. What do you need to pack when out for a game drive? The weather can change very quickly in Uganda, so I would recommend that you always have a light jacket and some form of rain protection with you, which could be a raincoat or an umbrella. Have sturdy shoes, especially when you are in the Bhiwandi Impenetrable National Park tracking gorillas, because that's where you're going uphill and downhill. The tracks could be slushy and you need a firm footing. Wear clothes which are light, which breathe easily, which where the sweat evaporates quickly enough. If you are prone to sunburn, have some sun protection cream, have a hat, maybe even carry some gloves if you don't want to get your hands too dirty when out tracking gorillas. Really, these are the main things you should carry. Of course, at any given time, always have water and some snacks on you. When you're traveling to national parks in Uganda, you really need to keep a few things in mind which actually apply to any other national park. You need to respect nature. You need to make sure that what you're enjoying stays like this forever for future generations to enjoy, and for yourself also to enjoy. Make sure you don't litter. When you are near animals, please don't provoke them. Please don't make noises. Let them be. Just to get a better photograph, don't make noises, don't make catcalls. Animals should be left like they are. Just listen to your guides, listen to your naturalists. What they're saying it for a reason. Please obey them. You go to national parks to have a good time. It's a lot of fun, but do it responsibly. Our wildlife is our natural heritage. We don't have too much of it left in this planet. Save it for yourself, and save it for the future generations.